Hey folks, welcome back. It's another episode of Boomer Deepcuts. So good to be back with you once again. Had to take a couple of weeks off dealing with some travel stuff with the Supernovas, but we're ready to roll, and we're going to have about 3 new episodes here for you coming out throughout the rest of this month. Otis 12 will join us next week. We're going to do a little Nashville Skyline. Bob Dylan, he's coming to town, by the way. And then we are going to reconvene with the Chuckster of Love, Chuck Yates, to do Meatloaf. And that'll be fun. Actually, it might actually be Jailbreak. Jailbreak actually might be what we have on tap with the Chuckster later this month, but you'll have to find out. Again, Boomer Deepcuts is brought to you by our friends at Kohl's Pharmacy and Home Care. Kohl's RX, so huge thank you to them for being a sponsor of our show. If you'd ever like to reach out to us and get in contact with us, go ahead and email us at deepcuts@myboomerradio.com. Okay, time to introduce our guest for this week's episode. So excited to get on the mic with her. It's my first time doing that. If you're familiar with the radio space here in Omaha, you know her well, and I'm very glad to welcome her, at least in this forum, to the team. Jill Thomas is with us now. Hey, Jill,
I know.
Welcome.
This is great.
You're going to be helping us with on the podcast side, which is certainly somewhere where you've got a lot of experience, and then of course Pat and JT.
My gosh. I know it. A lot of years, and it seems like it was just yesterday everything started. But then that's how I felt getting ready for this show.
Yes.
Because the music, it's like, that wasn't that long ago. Oh, it was. It was that long ago. But it just brings everything right back to the front.
Well, and I think that was one of the fun things. So we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally on this show, we're doing an album. We're doing a specific set of songs from one artist at one particular point in time. This week, we're going to do a little bit more of a medley of songs centered around one theme from all different points of time. Most of these songs are from the 70s. In fact, I think all of them are from the 70s.
I think so. Yeah, I think they are all from the 70s.
Why don't you tell us what the theme is, Jill?
Yeah. So I'm basing this off of, because you were talking about what was your favorite album from the 70s. And obviously, I love a lot of music from the 70s. And it's crazy the evolution of music in the 70s and the variety, and for a lot of people, it was like an introduction to different types of music you'd never heard before. But I was little at that time. So the 70s kicked off with me going to kindergarten. So, and my mom, though, was the audiophile, right? So she had the stereo piece of furniture with the radio cabinet, and record player, the whole, like so many people had, and all the albums. And so I was, of course, familiar with music, but what really sticks in my head is roller skating. Because that was central theme. It was small town Nebraska. And
grew up in Ashland.
Yep. Going to the roller rink. We had the Gateway roller rink in Ashland, which eventually became the VFW, and I don't know what it is now. But anyway, it was the roller skating rink, and Mr. and Mrs. Fromm owned it. And that was my introduction also to a lot of the surrounding communities, because every Friday and Saturday night, they would take off with their school bus and go to the other towns and pick up kids at a particular checkpoint, and the parents would drop them off there, and then they would take them back at a particular time, and the parents would pick them up there. I mean, different time, right?
Right.
I mean, and that was where, in Ashland itself, it was the best babysitter for the parents, because they dropped the kids off at skating at 7 o'clock or 6 or whatever, and then pick them up at 10, 11, 12. And Mr. and Mrs. Fromm were hawks when it came to watching the door. And they knew who drove, they knew who didn't, they knew who you came with. You walked in the front door and Mr. Fromm was getting your skates for you, and then Mrs. Fromm was at the refreshment stand right inside the door. And I can't even remember how much it cost. I was going to put that on Facebook because I was kind of messing around with some people and just random questions, asking them about remember when at the skating rink, and what are your biggest memories? What were your favorite tunes? Just kind of jogging my memory as well. But there were all ages there, because you had high school kids, and then you had little me. You had little kids. And granted, I didn't stay till midnight at that time, but
sure.
When I got, when I was 10 or 12, man, I was a big kid then, I could do that. But it was just so central to the music. I never realized the foreshadowing that was kind of going on. It didn't hit me until I was older, when I got into radio. I was the kid that had all the records. So I had all the 45s. I had a box of 45s, and I had my record player. Have Music Will Travel ready to go, like school dances when we were in elementary school. I was the DJ. Didn't call myself that. Nobody called me that. I just, Jill's going to bring her music. And I remember showing up with my little record player, which, by the way, I know somebody else had one of these. It was plastic. I think it was a light blue. And when you opened it up, it looked like a little turtle shell. And you opened it up, and inside on the top half was a picture of Pluto. And Pluto was looking at the record that was playing. Well, actually, he was looking at the needle because the arm was in the shape of a white dog bone, right? And so that was my first record player. And had my little box of 45s, and away we go.
So when you're at the roller rink,
Yeah.
did you just go around and round and round? Did
Yeah.
you play games or?
Yes, and also it was interesting too, because I didn't. Now that I'm thinking about it for this, I'm like, yeah, there was actually some kind of they had a format to what they were doing. Of course they did, because they're trying to control the flow to a degree. They took requests, but they also, you'd throw in a hokey pokey every once in a while, throw in some other games that we could play. And then there was the spinning in the middle, and then there was the conga line. Everybody was, in line, and then there was a snake swinging people around. All of that stuff was going on with no helmets. Thank you. We were all fine. We are all fine. And yeah, you just pretty much go in circles and just laughing and having fun with your friends.
Yeah.
It was really innocent and really fun. But and Omaha had theirs too. There's their skating rinks, and I know a lot of it probably is very similar, but it's also very different. The way we grew up.
The bus side of things,
Yeah.
that blows my mind a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. They would just take off and hit several little towns, and they had a schedule, what time they would be there and what time they'd bring the kids back, and they'd stop in each location and pick up a handful of kids to bring them to Ashland. And some of them were a little bit of a hop and a skip and a jump away.
Like 45 minutes, an hour, or longer?
I'm going to say probably half an hour.
Okay.
Probably half an hour would probably be about the furthest. But all the little towns, and go grab people and bring them in if they couldn't catch a ride, or if they couldn't get to a town that had a stop. Mm-hmm. And that was my introduction to a lot of these kids that were from other towns.
Right.
My world was very small at that time, and then as you're getting older, school. We weren't doing competitive sports in elementary, so you weren't meeting other kids. That's kind of how I met kids from other towns. That and 4-H, for Pete's sake. Yeah, that was it.
So our songs today, there's 5 of them, and they range from about 1970 to 1976. About combined streams on Spotify, about 463 million between all 5
crazy.
songs.
Wow.
Tony Orlando and Dawn, Jim Croce, Bill Swan, Gary Wright, and England Dan, and John Ford Coley, all among some of our picks today, and the Bay City Rollers, actually. So we've got everybody.
I had to add that.
Yeah.
I had that. That was my Facebook poll, and I'm going back through all the names. It's like it was dominant, just dominated the conversation.
Any fun stories? Because you put it out on
Yeah.
Facebook, hey, I'm doing something like this, or what do you remember from music and tunes and stuff like that from the roller rink days? Any fun stories come out of that on your Facebook post?
Yeah, the songs bring up memories, and it's not necessarily like when you mentioned Jim Croce. Jim Croce was probably the first full album I completely paid attention to, and that was in 73 when that came out right before he died.
Yeah.
And I knew every song word for word because it came in a double album, and it had all the lyrics printed on the inside of the double album, and I would just sit there and soak it in, right? And there were several, and honestly, yes, to be fair, Roller Derby Queen should have been the pick, but I went with my favorite on that album instead. And Jim Croce just brings up other memories of my family, my mom and dad, and roller skating.
Well, what a pick. We'll start there. Here's Don't Mess Around with Jim.
42nd Street got Big Jim, a walker, he a bull shooting son of a gun. Yeah, he big and dumb as a man can come, but he's stronger than a country horse. And when the bad folks all get together at night, you know they all call Big Jim Boy just because. And they say you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull A mask off an old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim.
So Jim is an actual real pool hustler in Philly. Jim Croce's wife later would go on to explain that. He died, so this came out in 72. He died in 73. So he died a year later in a plane crash.
Yeah.
So spent about 11 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, peaked at number 8 the week of September 8th. Poison later went on to cover that song. Josh Turner covered it in the early 2000s for a true country version of it. And then pretty heavily featured in Stranger Things. Jim Hopper from the show, who, if you remember, is the police chief of the town. This is a song that comes up multiple times, once in season 2 and in season 3 of the 5 seasons of the show, as a song that he really likes, either listening in the truck or whatever else. So
that's crazy. The song itself, I love the story of the song, and obviously, don't mess around with Jim Pole on Superman's cape. That highly attractive to a little kid. But the story of the song also, the pool hustler got his butt kicked by a guy who came in, and the very last verse of the song then changes at the end. You don't mess around with Slim.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I didn't catch that until I was much older.
Yeah.
Because I really wasn't listening to what the whole storyline, because it was just the picture it painted in the chorus that always captured me. Spit in the Wind.
Right.
Superman's cape, all those neat little, he's a great writer. It's so sad.
So the other thing, by the way, normally we stack up our history things at the end. But because we're doing an album in a bunch of different years, we're going to do the history a little bit throughout. And I have a couple of different bullets for each song. So this is June of 72. On June 9th, Bruce Springsteen, signs with Columbia Records.
That's Springsteen. Oh.
Yeah, that one, yeah. On June 10th, Elvis records an album live at Madison Square Garden. Yeah. Same day, Sammy Davis, his cover of The Candyman hits number 1 on the charts. And then on June 27th, Atari is founded, the legendary video game company, one of the first out there. So
yes. Oh my God, a lot of good stuff going on early 70s.
Yeah. So now let's go top of the order here with Knock 3 Times.
Oh yeah.
And this song streamed about 69 million times.
Wow.
And this song has a very interesting history.
Dancing alone every night while I live right above you. I can hear your music playing. I can feel your body swaying. One floor below me, you don't even know me. I love you. Oh, my darling, knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me.
This is the iconic part to me. Oh, they're just kidding. Not yet. It's coming. I think it's the second time of the chorus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my sweetness means you meet me in the hallway. Whoa, twice on the pipe.
There it is.
You ain't gonna show.
Yeah, so like that, I love that. Like you, instead of saying knock 3 times the second time around, it's the actual knock that you hear. I mean, I love that creativity of that is pretty cool. So the first song that dawned, at the time when it was just dawned, it was Candida. And at the time, Tony Orlando wasn't, actually, that's when he got involved with the group, but he sang anonymously because he had been out of his singing career at that point, because he was singing initially in the 1960s, had some limited success in the early 60s, had been working with a subsidiary of Columbia Records. And so this is working for a competitor. And he said, the only way I'll sing and do anything in this is if I'm singing anonymously, because I could lose my career. And then eventually joins the group fully and comes on with this song here. So,
which is crazy, anonymously.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, his voice is very distinctive. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, we don't know who that guy is. He's just singing over there. It just sounds like, I don't know who he is. Yeah. But I love that song. And that song, when I hear that song, I instantly am thinking of a couple people in particular that were roller skaters. They were at the skating rink that were young teenagers, mid-teenagers, really good skaters. And they could do the spins individually, and of course the skating backwards. And that was when I'm like, oh, I got to learn all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I remember that song. There was another song too, and I can't remember the name of it. All I know is there was a Sky High. Is there's Sky High?
I can
almost see it. But anyway, and I remember the guy, and it was 2 guys, and they were just really good skaters. And that's the vision I get when I hear that song.
It's like you blew me, Sky High. I'm trying to remember what the here.
Somebody
Producer
will know
Cam's
it.
working on it.
I hope so.
We'll get a verdict to you. But this song knocked 3 times. It hit number 1 January of 71. January 1st, 71. Nebraska beats LSU in the Orange Bowl,
Yes.
17-12. That same day, and this is something that the song is actually just called Sky High by Jigsaw, 75. There you go. Thanks, Producer Cam. He does this once an episode, maybe more than that. So that same day, January 1st, is when the cigarette advertisement ban went into place. So no cigarette advertisements in broadcast media in the United States. January 7th, Warner Brothers Records with Black Sabbath, they released Paranoid, which was the second studio album for the group. Iron Man, War Pigs, of course, the title track, Paranoid. And then, okay, this one is weird. I don't know. This is probably one that you won't remember. I think it's on the earlier side for you, but U.S. federal judge, January 12th, the grand jury indicts Reverend Philip Berrigan and 5 others, including a nun, and 2 priests on charges of plotting to kidnap Henry Kissinger.
No, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Okay, now
I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is a little bit in the weeds, but I had to dig that up.
No, I like that. I like things like that because honestly, and you made mention of this too. I think it's more common now than it used to be. Somebody will say, "Well, you probably don't remember this because you were little when this happened."
Sure.
But when I was growing up, I was very familiar with songs from the 50s and the 60s, even though I wasn't there for most all of it. But because of the way radio was. Because radio programmed
Right.
in a way that gave you stuff that you may not, it's not top of mind. And now a lot of times the way you find music is, well, kids find music, TikTok, whatever's popular there, that might open up some doors for them. But otherwise, there is no random infusion of any kind of music that isn't right now, unless it comes that way. But then you could listen to, depending on the station you listen to, or going to the skating rink, where somebody's playing songs. That's how I got exposed to a lot of music that, might have been before my time. And ironically, too, I'll say this, when I got started in radio, my second job in radio was at a rock station. And they had some classic rock and they had some rock, but I was playing songs from the 60s and 70s. And so I got a whole new introduction to the heavier side of rock.
Sure.
But from the 70s as well. So it was kind of interesting because that was a lot of the same music. So I was exposed to all of that there, but I learned a lot because that wasn't what I was listening to. I was listening to pop and I was listening to country in the 70s when I was a kid. Yeah.
So we're going to go a little bit off script here a little bit. We're going to go to a song that is a little bit slower. We'll go with Dreamweaver
I have a reason
next.
for this, yeah.
Man, this open is,
Isn't it great?
yeah, feels very 80s
Does it?
to me. You get the little the piano underneath.
Climbed aboard the dream.
Yeah, the synthesizer.
Train. Trying to take away my worries of today and leave tomorrow behind.
There we go.
Ooh, Dreamweaver, I believe you can get me through the night.
So this song is done completely with keyboards, synthesizers, and drums. That's it. There's no guitars.
Yeah,
And that was a big deal at the time.
a big deal. That song, okay, that is for all the blacklight boys' choice, girls' choice.
Oh, okay.
That's what when I hear that song, it's like then Mr. Fromm would get on the microphone, boys' choice. And so everybody go off to the sides of the roller rink. And then you'd stand there and either you got chosen and you got to skate or you went and got yourself a suicide. Now, a suicide was a pop that was a little bit of every kind of cola, or all the pops. So it'd be 7-Up and orange and root beer and everything. She put a squirt of everything in it. And maybe that and a licorice stick like a straw.
Yeah.
And wait till the song got over so you could skate more.
Someone
yeah.
did that on a band trip once in high school, except they put salt in there. Oh, yeah, it was
No.
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever drank that got stuck
I
with the
can't
short
imagine
stick.
how hopped up these kids were by the time mom and dad came to pick them up. Between the candy and everything was.
You had the bus ride back, though. You had some time
maybe
to
that's
cool
true
down.
too. That could be too.
Hit at number 2 on the Billboard chart,
Okay.
December 63, Oh What a Night, denied them number one. Oh, I think the 73.
No.
No,
Oh, What a
63?
Night, December 63.
Duh. Sorry,
song.
I'm yes, December 63, Oh What a Night. That's the title of the song, not
Yes,
the date.
exactly.
Duh. But that denied them number one, so that's what they were going up against.
Great song.
December 13th of that year, the year Dreamweaver came out. First time SNL uses a time delay. Richard Pryor hosted
Caused
for that show. December 20th was when Joe Walsh was recruited to the Eagles of that year. And then the 26th, another football deal, but this time not good for Nebraska. The Fiesta Bowl, Arizona State defeats number 6 Nebraska 17-14.
Wow.
So yeah, that's too bad.
I honestly didn't know the Fiesta Bowl went back that far.
I was digging up some of these things and I was like, oh, there's actually a lot of Nebraska football stuff that was going on during that time.
Crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah.
All right, let's do cut 5 now, which we have one more left, which is the one that to me is the most roller skatey of all of these after this one.
Okay.
But this is I'd Really Love to See You Tonight, which is one of the most, in fact, it is the most played song digitally that we have today. A little over 189 million streams
Holy
of this
cow.
song.
Wow.
Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not much. How about you? I'm not sure why I called. I guess I really just wanted to talk to you. And I was thinking maybe later on we could get together for a while. It's been such a long time and I really do miss your smile.
Here we go.
I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight.
So England Dan is Dan Seals, who had a series of country hits after he stopped performing with Coley in 1980. His older brother Jim was the Seals of Seals and Crofts, who had Summer Breeze. So Seals and Coley met in high school, and this was their first ever single. So they followed up with several other favorites: "Night Serve Forever Without You," "We'll Never Have to Say Goodbye Again." It's interesting. We talk about mishearing lyrics or figuring out what lyrics actually sound like a little bit later. I'm not talking about moving in is often heard as I'm not talking about the linen.
Yes.
This one hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, charted for 2 weeks right behind Wild Cherry's "Play That Funky Music."
Look at the difference in the tunes. They're on the same chart. Mm-hmm. Those two tunes are on the same chart. It's just crazy because it was just like the Wild West.
Paul Harvey's May 10th. By the way, this is May of 74, I think. I could be wrong.
That sounds about right.
It's mid-late 70s. Paul Harvey's daily syndicated program, The Rest of the Story, on May 10th premieres on the ABC radio network, and that would continue until his death. And then May 31st is The Who. They set the record for the loudest concert of all time, 120 decibels at 50 meters away in London. So there's a couple of events there.
That's cool.
Let's see. There's producer Cam coming in to save me again. Classic producer
What's it
Cam. Let's see. 76. Oh, it's the latest one. Okay. That's right. All right.
76. So
Let's round it out with kind of the well, apart from the song you mentioned earlier with Roller Queen, but Don't Mess Around with Jim. No, just kidding. Saturday Night from the Bay City Rollers. And believe it or not, this is the least streamed song digitally of all 5.
That's crazy. But still a lot.
I did 31 million.
On Saturday night, dancing to the rhythm in our heart and soul. On Saturday night, I just can't wait. I got a day at the good old rock and roll show. I gotta go Saturday night. Gonna rock it up, roll it up, do it all, have a ball. Saturday night.
Love that song. So that's my favorite, by the way, the ones that you picked. So it's a Scottish boy brand, the Bay City Rollers Scottish boy band. This song hit number 1 in 76. The original record that came out in 73 failed to chart. And then they performed it on TV with Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell, not NBC Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell.
with Howard Cosell. Crazy. That is just crazy. That song, that was just like, it was like everybody hit the floor when that song came on. That's all that was going to happen. And when I was just looking through some of the replies for their favorite songs, everybody has said Saturday Night. But another one that comes up a lot is Melanie's Brand New Key. I got a brand new pair of roller skates. That one, yeah.
Okay.
And that one, I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Betty Davis Eyes, Kim Carnes, Casey and the Sunshine Band a lot. Just pick a song. Crocodile Rock.
That's another one.
Anything by Kiss.
We could have picked
Oh my gosh.
15 songs.
Yeah.
Maybe 20.
You could seriously, you could put together, I don't know how many albums of, put together your favorite tapes, make your own little tapes for roller skating music. Yeah. Some great stuff.
As Cam is making,
what did he do?
He's working back there. He's making our friends England Dan and John Ford Coley.
Love it.
Backdrop. So hey, this song, if you want a little trivia for later, I don't know if this will ever come up, but took 35 years for another song with the day of the week in the title to reach number 1 in America. The next song to do it did so in 2011. And I wonder if you can guess who it is. Putting you on the spot here a little bit.
Right? I'm thinking 2011.
I'll give you one shot at it and then just to...
I have no idea.
Okay. So TGIF, Katy Perry, Last Friday Night.
Oh my God. Yes.
That was the last. So 35 years in between until 2011 before there was another day of the week song. So if that ever comes up at bar trivia somewhere,
there
wherever
you go.
you are.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Wow. Yeah. Some good stuff. Really some good stuff. I mean, it's just fun because it brings up so many other memories. Mm-hmm. And then you start thinking about, get into that little wormhole when you start. I was going back through my history and I was trying to find another page that I had looked at earlier before we started talking about doing this.
Yeah.
And I realized how many songs I listened to. Just listen, one would lead to another. And I'm like, we probably listened to 40 or 50 different songs that were from that era in the 70s roller skating stuff. Yeah.
Well, shout out to the Gateway Roller Rink, right?
Gateway Roller Rink.
And the Frogs.
I wish it was still there. I wish it was still there, but it's not. It was the coolest place. It was so much fun. And then another thing too about the roller skating rinks, there was always the back row of chairs,
Okay.
That's where the high school kids were because they were up there making out. Right? When the dark lights, that was going on too. It was an eye-opening experience all around.
Let's see. So that'll do it, I think, for us. We've covered some ground. We've covered some ground here. Final thoughts here on our roller skating episode of Deep Cuts with JT.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything else to say.
God, it's great music. It's great music. It's been a lot of fun just all of these we play on Boomer, I think.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Dreamweaver is maybe the one that I've heard the least on Boomer, but I've heard all the other ones.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just great music.
Right in your wheelhouse.
And it's fun to do something a little bit different, break away, and we'll try. We'll snap back to that album format with Otis next week.
Otis would be a little bit different than me.
Yes, I'm excited I'm excited to hear his thoughts next week on just. We haven't done Bob Dylan yet, so that's
it'll be good.
Exciting for me. So
no doubt, it'll be good.
You'll have that to look forward to. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Boomer Deep Cuts. Again, a massive thank you to our friends at Kohl's. Again, if you're looking for, pharmaceuticals, they've been taking care of you for a very, very long time, handling those sorts of things. But if you're looking to make your home a little bit safer, they're really, really well equipped to help you in that area too. And it doesn't really have to be anything too terribly complicated. I mean, just as simple as a grab bar that can really save you a lot of pain, suffering, and financial heartache that you might have if you have a fall. So go ahead and get in contact with them today if that's something that you need to do, and they can do things that are much more complicated than a grab bar as well, but just throwing something out there for you. So we'll be back here next week with another episode of Boomer Deep Cuts. My thanks to our producer, Cam Broham, and to Jill Thomas for joining us. And we'll be back with you next week for another episode of Boomer Deep Cuts.